Hello guys, so in this video I'm going to be going over injury prevention and injury recovery because a lot of us when we're doing training or doing our workouts we get injured or we want to prevent our injuries if we don't have any already, and we want to learn if we do have them, worst case scenario, how we can get them to heal faster, to then work out more, to then have better gains in the gym. So in this video we're going to be going over all of that. So without further ado, let's get into the video, guys. So the first thing we want to go over when we're talking about injury prevention is proper training and proper form while training. Whenever we're doing any sort of workout, we need to learn how to stack the weight properly. So what a lot of people do when they go to the gym is that they go and they try a machine that they've never seen before. This is the first thing that we need to take care of. Never ever try a machine or an exercise that you've not seen done a few times before doing it or have had some sort of instruction on, because if you go and you try to do a certain workout and you've only seen it once real quick and you don't really understand how it's supposed to be done, you're much more likely to injure yourself than if it's an exercise that you've seen many times and you've been educated on how to do, so you don't injure yourself. Like a handstand, if you go straight into a handstand and you haven't practiced, you'll probably hurt yourself. But if you've practiced, maybe you won't hurt yourself nearly as bad, or doing a backflip or any of those types of exercises. And another thing that we could do is whenever we're doing an exercise like a squat or a deadlift or a bench, is have someone around us. Or with bench and squat, have someone hold the weight for us in case we can't spot us, because if we make a mistake when we're squatting, and the weight could just go over our neck and then crush neck and then we're dead, and that wouldn't be good. Same thing with the bench, and we've had sadly very few people pass away because of the ego lifting, and they don't have. If you're gonna ego lift, or if you're gonna lift heavy weights, which you really shouldn't be doing, if you're going to do it with a spotter, limit your risk of injury. There's no point in lifting heavy weights without anyone there when you could do it with someone there and have a much safer lifting session, and really push yourself. And if anything too, whenever you're doing heavy lifts, they could, maybe not heavy lifts, but if you're really pushing yourself doing high reps, you could still get injured. Because if you have a weight, let's say it's only 150 pounds, just going boom, 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 you might not struggle that much with 150 pounds, but I'm sure if 150 pounds just drops on your head, let's say you pull a muscle when you're pushing up and down and just falls, you're kind of cooked if you don't have someone there. But if you do have someone there, they'll catch it for you. You never know when your muscles could spasm out, or when you could pull something, or maybe you're just really going extra and you're doing like 150 reps of 150 pounds, and then you're just tired and you push yourself so hard you don't realize, and then weight just falls on top of you. Then you get hurt. Don't be that type of person. Have someone there next to you who could spot you, and make sure that you don't get injured that way. Now, another very important way that you could prevent injuries, or you should be doing to prevent injuries, is stretching. Stretching doesn't only help with injury prevention, it also helps with injury recovery. So when you get injured, your stretching will increase blood flow to the area, which will then increase the rate of healing. When you get injured, your muscles, or let's say I get my wrist injured, I pull something on my wrist. Now, a lot of people say, especially in the past, they'd say rice. Rice is the standard kind of like health guidelines for any sort of injury, rice was, I think, rest, ice, compression, and I can't remember what E is right now. But a lot of people would say to compress it and hold it still, but you don't want to compress and hold. Well, you do want to, in some cases, compress and hold still, depending on the injury. But in most cases, as soon as you're able to move, even if it hurts a little bit, you want to be moving the injury so you get blood flow, because you need blood flow to heal. And there's been many cases in the past where we've had people who are injured. A doctor says it'll take about a month for you to heal, but then they do it in like a week or two. The reason they heal at twice the rate is because they have twice the amount of blood flow going into the area than what the doctor expects. And they get this through movement, slow movement. And if you do it, then eventually you'll see that you'll heal faster than what you're predicted. But don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you'll injure yourself even more. So it's just till right around where it starts hurting a little bit. That's typically when you want to stop with the stretching. If you're doing it for recovery, if you're not injured in any way, you can push yourself a little farther with the stretching. Stretching also before you start a workout can help warm you up, get your heart rate up, get your body in the mood. You're moving. Let's say if you're half asleep and you start lifting, and stretching, it helps you wake up so you don't get injured when you do it. You need to be awake. You can't be working out and not be awake. You're lifting heavy weights, and if you drop a weight on your foot can get all messed up. So it's very important to stretch beforehand and move around a little bit. Now, another thing that you could do for reduction in injury is learning how to fall, for example, or how to get off of a lift if it's gone wrong. So you have to learn how to get rid of, when you're doing bench by yourself, there's a way where you can chuck the weight. You have to learn how to chuck the weight away if it's falling on top of you and you can't hack it. And you have to learn when you're squatting to roll the weight back and not forward, because what happens is a lot of people, they're not used to getting into these types of scenarios where they're at risk or in danger of hurting themselves in a workout. And the moment they get in that scenario where they can't rack the weight, they roll it forward. You're supposed to roll it backwards. You're not supposed to let the weight just fall on your neck, because then you snap your neck. The bones in your neck and tendons in your neck are much weaker than the ones in your back. So you want to roll it back and off your shoulders. Same thing with handstands and flips. There's way you're supposed to fall. It might sound kind of dumb, but there's ways that you fall. You see these people doing parkour and jumping off of buildings and they don't get hurt. Why don't they get hurt? It's because they distribute the force of the fall a certain way. So before you do any sort of workout, you should learn, how do I do this workout safely so I don't hurt myself? Because if you go and you do it first time and you don't know what you're doing, you're very, very likely to hurt yourself. And if you do know what you're doing, then you won't hurt yourself, because you fall correctly, you roll the weight off. And I've done this before where I didn't really know at the beginning when I was starting to do handstands and stuff, how to safe fall and how to get off of the handstand position. I'd just do a handstand, I'd get up, and then I'd be terrified because I wouldn't know how to get back down, and then I'd lose balance and I'd fall flat on my face, and it would hurt pretty bad. But after I fell enough times on my face, I decided to go research and do some stuff online. And now if I do fall, I fall in a certain way where I just kind of roll off of it. I go with the motion and I don't really get hurt. Same thing if I feel like I'm getting tired, I know how to get off of my handstand instead of going even getting into that position where I have to roll off and I fall. I don't even have to get there, but if I do get there, I'm already safe because I know how to bounce off and roll with the motion. But that's just what happens when you do some research. Never ever, like I said before, never ever go straight into it. Another thing that you could do with healing an injury is make sure that you train around the injury. You only do stretching motions. A lot of people, when they do train, they go straight and they start training on the injury. If I get a bicep tear, I'm not going to start doing bicep curls. I might stretch around my arm, but I'm going to do, if I get it on my right arm here, I'm not going to just start going straight into doing some curls. I'm going to be doing maybe some rotational stretching, light movement, trying to see if I can move my arm a little bit. But that's pretty much it. But does that also mean that I'm going to stop training? I'm going to train my other arm, because there's been history and research done where you could see people who train different body parts. There's a word for it, but you reduce the amount of muscle you lose in one arm by training the other arm. It actually promotes muscle maintenance and muscle growth in the other arm, because your body wants to not have any muscle imbalances, because muscle imbalances leads to more injury, and your body knows this, so it does this on purpose, and it makes you train. Tells you when you're training this to stop the other one from fading away when it's injured. So if you're injured, doesn't mean you should stop training. If you have a light cold, a lot of people say you shouldn't train, but really doesn't mean you should stop training, because if anything, training helps you get better as long as you're not doing super crazy intense training where it drains everything out. If you're doing light training, putting a little bit of stress on your muscles and on your bones, it won't really affect your ability to fight off a disease. You have to really be pushing yourself. Like most people in the gym aren't even pushing themselves half that much where they would need to, it would affect them getting better from an illness. Even if it was pretty bad. I've been pretty sick before, and I used to train every day, and I just train, and I feel, if anything, I'd feel better afterwards. I wouldn't feel, I mean, it's more or less anecdotal evidence because it's just me, but training in general doesn't really have a huge effect on you being sick or not, or you getting better, as long as you train correctly and you don't really overdo it when you're sick. You should go lighter when you're sick. Whenever I'm sick, I do train lighter, but that's what I know. From what I've experienced, that's what I've seen. That one you could take it with a pinch of salt. Do your own research, see what your body works best with, and if you feel like you can't train at all when you're sick, then I guess don't train. But I recommend that you do get a little bit of training in, even when you are sick. Just try not to overdo it. But that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please like, subscribe, hit the comment, tips of the comment section below. Let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.